explore the Earth's surface. 210 million years ago, the first sign of a bird-like footprint suggests that some dinosaurs are already evolving into birds. 150 million years ago, the first bird took flight and made our once empty skies wide open. A mere 6 million years ago, the first human created the first footprints on Earth. And now, for over 60,000 years, the oldest continuous living culture on Earth, my culture, the indigenous people of Australia, have a connection to the land, the skies, and the wildlife that coexist here. This connection, these stories, the knowledge, they belong to the land, they belong to the wild skies.
The power of flight. It's given birds an edge over most other creatures. It allows them to travel further and wider in search of food and live in no other creature can go. But millions of years of evolution, it's allowed our bird species to adapt to their own individual niche. And our First Nations Australians have formed connections with creatures who have roamed this earth. They have witnessed animals that have swum in our seas and today fly across our Australian sky. Well, good afternoon everybody, welcome to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary and a very big special welcome to our Wild Skies Free Flight Bird Show. My name is Lauren and I'm Tegan, and together we're going to introduce you all to some incredible animal ambassadors. We're kick-starting the show out here today. We've got a raptorial bird of prey. They are our black kites and their names are Ash and Brooke. Now the black kite is an extremely abundant species here in Australia and they can actually be seen in flocks of hundreds, sometimes even thousands of birds all at once. Now these birds here are very often seen amongst our, oh gosh, I've completely lost my train of thought. They're seen in grasshopper plague. Grasshopper plague, thank you very much. They are seen around grasshopper plague and are very often found around our outland fields as well. Yeah, they are certainly a abundant bird that you'll see around our Australian landscape. But they do, what we're showing off today is what we call a feeding technique, known as feeding on the wing. So we're actually throwing bits of food up to the girls. They're catching it in their talons, just like that. See if you can pinpoint the moment where they pass it straight from their talons to their beak. So it is a two-part feeding behaviour, but it is very energy efficient. They do not have to come down to the ground when it comes to hunting their food and then take lift again. And it actually stops any other bird of prey from trying to steal from them as well. Now this feeding technique is really commonly seen around our bushfires. So much so that our First Nations Australians have actually nicknamed these birds the firehawks. We both stole each other's birds then. Now the firehawk, they get that name because they've actually been seen picking up burning sticks and twigs from already lit blazes, carrying them across country and creating new fires. This way they can eat all the insects and mammals that are fleeing that blaze. Yeah, extremely intelligent behaviour, utilising our indigenous culture when it comes to hunting their food as well. But even though this is one nickname they go by, the firehawk, they do have a few other names as well. Have a look at their fork-shaped tail. They are nicknamed the fork-tailed kite because of that shape of their tail, but it fans out, allowing them to utilise it like a rudder. They can twist and turn throughout the bushfire smoke, throughout high winds as well. But not only that, they can also identify the species from their tail shape alone. Alright, we're going to have to focus now. I thought I got away with mine, but you might want to keep your mouth shut as you're enjoying our birds here today. You do not want to accidentally catch a bit from our birds. Sometimes they don't catch very good, and sometimes we don't throw the best either. It takes a bit off sometimes. Now that sounds one other nickname, and that is the pirates of the sky. And that's because these birds have been seen stealing food out of the talons of other birds in the sky. They've also even been seen stealing a sausage off the barbecue every now and again as well. Yeah, they do like to get nice and close to us humans, but I think they've done a pretty spectacular job out here. I think they've headed off stage. Everyone, that was Ash and Brooke of Black Kite. So you see, the birds that you can see out in our inland deserts, to those that you can find all the way out in our coastal waterways. Now, particularly here on the Gold Coast, we're so famous for our beautiful beaches, and living alongside those beaches, we have some pretty spectacular bird species as well. Coming in hot, this is Marlin, and he is our very handsome Australian pelican. well. But without a doubt, the most iconic feature of this bird is that bill, that elongated bill and that massive throat pouch. It acts like a fishing net. Now it's highly sensitive as well, so any murky situations out there in our waterways, they're easily able to catch, they're easily able to locate fish. Now they plunge that bill into the water, just like that, instinctively using that pouch like a fishing net. They'll then draw that pouch to their chest, empty out all of that water, and then manoeuvre that prey into a nice swallowing position. Now as he gets nice and close to you all, you might be able to see as well that he does have that hook at the end of his bill. Now that hook serves the purpose like a fishing hook, so he can catch anything that might be a little bit slippery. But when it comes to these birds and their lifestyles, they do live alongside us humans, but unfortunately they do get entangled in our fishing equipment. But it only takes one positive action like cleaning up after ourselves and keeping our oceans and our waterways nice and healthy to prevent these birds coming through our hospital. And why wouldn't you want to help protect birds like marlin when he even knows the pelican strap? Take it away, buddy. Everyone, give it up for marlin. Have you ever seen a pelican strap before? Never. Definitely a showstopper here at Wildsides, an icon of his species out in our waterways. Sadly though, they are a bird that isn't really doing too well amongst us humans, but we do have birds out there that have thrived in the presence of us, and in particular when it comes to our fishing practices. Now this next guest that we are about to meet, he does actually get 70% of his diet from following alongside those commercial fishing trawlers. Here he is. His name is Monster, and he is our adorable crested tern. Now, even though he's not a big monster, he does make up for it with his amazing fishing abilities. But he's one of the most adaptable species of water birds. As I mentioned, they follow those fishing trawlers because of all the jettison bycatch that they throw overboard. All of the unwanted fish they throw over makes for a perfect meal for a bird like Monster. But when it comes to their hunting strategy, they are built for speed and they are built for agility. Giving you all a nice shower as well. They can easily plunge and dive from heights of 10 metres above the water surface and dive to depths of 1 metre below in order to catch their prey, as he's demonstrated to you all out here today. But they are very agile species. They can often end up out in the open ocean as well. 10 kilometres they can be seen travelling out there in search of their favourite foods, which happen to be anchovies and even sardines. The more fattier foods, especially when it comes to their breeding season. But you can see how well he flies. There has been records though of this little bird being found in the middle of Australia. How on earth do they get out there? Well, tell me so. Alright, sorry, yes, what? Monster said that when he was on the wing, he saw a really big storm cloud, and he doesn't really like to get wet, even though he doesn't want to get blown inland. He doesn't want to get blown inland, so I'm going to have to protect him and get him out of here. Alright. Everyone, that was Monster, the crested tern. Oh, hi, Monster. Isn't he adorable? So you see, Australia, we're one of the driest countries on earth. But in the summer months, in the heat of the day, it often brings along a storm season. And a rumbling of distance thunder is a warning to us all that rain is on its way. But it's not the only indicator that we can rely on. All you need to do is look towards our natural world to give you a weather report. It is believed that the increase in the number of black cockatoos heard in an area is a sign that rain is to come. In fact, they are a huge part of our Indigenous culture. But our First Nations Australians, they do believe that each bird heard or even seen within that flock flying overhead can indicate how many days of rain is on its way. But given their large size, their raucous call, even their flocking behaviour, our black cockatoo species, they can be easily spotted as they fly gracefully overhead. So when it comes to identifying each of the 5 different species here in Australia, you have to look a little bit closer to their features. So right here on stage, we are very lucky to be joined by 2 beautiful females who represent our red-tailed black cockatoos. Now to my right, we have Phoenix, and we also have Barbara in the tree. She's still there. Now these girls are representatives of the red-tailed black cockatoo, and as they fly overhead, have a look at why they are called that in particular. They do have those beautiful red colorations to their tail, and with the female in particular, they do have those beautiful yellow speculations on their body. Now the male part of the species, they are completely jet black and they have a beautiful red bar across their tail feathers. Now they are an ambassador for their species in the wild, as unfortunately our black cockatoos, they are facing quite a rapid decline in numbers. You see, these birds are so special to us here in Australia because they are found nowhere else in the world. So seeing a black cockatoo in the wild is quite a special moment. But when it comes to their protection, we really do need to be mindful of how we are treating their environment. You see, these birds heavily rely on an old growth tree hollow, just like this one here on stage, for their reproduction and their survival in our Australian native wild environment. And you see, these hollows are becoming so scarce that they are affecting their population numbers every single day. But out of the 21 species of cockatoo we have in Australia, and around the world, we have 5 of our black cockatoo species right here in our various countries. But unfortunately, within those 5, already 2 are listed as vulnerable, threatened, or even endangered. But here at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, we take part in multiple conservation and breeding efforts that ensures birds like these don't fade away to the brink of extinction. Now for our black cockatoos, that's one step towards their future. Everyone, you just met Barb and Phoenix, our red-tailed black cockatoos. Now from the heat of the day to the setting sun, animals like our black cockatoos, they go to rest, while others, they bring the night to life. Now these animals are what we refer to as our nocturnal species. And for many of our nocturnal species here in Australia, they rely extremely heavily on tree hollows to survive. Much like this hollow we have on stage today. Now emerging from that tree hollow is our beautiful masked owl. And her name is Gorilla. Now Gorilla here is one of the largest owls in the Tiger family, and she is an expert in hearing. See how she bobs her head from side to side? She is channeling sound towards her heart or this like shaped face. Now her hearing is so acute that she can actually hear the squeaking of a mouse from 800 meters away. And the heartbeat of that same mouse from just under 10. Now Gorilla here is also equipped with what we refer to as silent flight. Now this means that the edges of her feathers are completely frayed, so she makes no noise as she cuts through our wind column. Now this makes her an extremely great ambush predator, as nothing could ever be able to hear her coming in the still of the night. Now unfortunately for many of our nocturnal species, just like Gorilla here, they have had to learn to adapt to our artificial infrastructure. Now that can be anything from an abandoned warehouse to a ranger's hut like we have on stage here today. However, it isn't just our owl species that have had to learn to adapt. And the clues that there is an animal in your backyard are absolutely everywhere. It could be a scuffle by a rubbish bin, or even droppings on your lawn in the early morning. These are all a sign that there is an animal that is bringing your backyard alive at night. But of all the animals that do come alive at night, I think we can all agree, few are truly that magical than that of an owl. Now we've met a silent hunter, we'd like to introduce you to a little bit more of a noisy hunter. Everyone, this here is Bailey, and Bailey is our little barking owl. As graceful as ever, dodge everyone up here today. Now, yes, this is Bailey. She is our beautiful barking owl. Now, this bird here has that vocalization that is synonymous with that of a dog's bark. So if you listen up as she flies overhead, she's a hawk-faced owl as well, very different to Gorilla, our masked owl. So if you listen up, you might be able to hear that vocalization as she's flying around. But they do utilise it like a communication call. Now they'll use this communication call to find their companions over about 6 kilometres of distance. However, sometimes they can't hear their companions, so they have to rely on their eyesight. They have excellent eyesight that can easily pinpoint their companion, but also locate where their prey is. Now what is on the menu for a barking owl? Their prey consists of a variety of different animals. It can be large insects, small to medium-sized mammals like rats and mice, maybe something a little bit larger like a soft-crested cockatoo, a naughty small child, brush-tailed peacock. What? Naughty small child? I can't say that anymore. No. are pretty big. Yeah. Too much paperwork. Yeah. No, we're kidding. But they do take down some pretty large prey items, but they can't consume that entire animal. They're only going to eat the most nutritious parts. If you are a naughty child, you might want to block yours for this next part. The way that they do is they rip that head off that animal first. They eat the eyeballs, go in through the eye sockets, and suck out the juicy brain. Oh, delicious. Anyone feeling hungry? Snack. It does get better though. It does, because if they're not done with consuming all their brains in one sitting, they'll actually carry that little skull around in their talons like a little prefab lunchbox for later. Oh, efficient. Yeah, like really efficient. Do the owl. Exactly right. But very, very effective for them. A meal on the go. But they do have a very large territory, these owls, in comparison to what we're set on here at Currumbin Sanctuary. So here at Currumbin Sanctuary, we're set on about 27 hectares of land. Now, these guys here can have a home range of about 2,500 hectares. So it's much, much bigger than where we are right now. Almost 200 times the size of Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, and that's only for 2 little owls, so a very big home. But when it comes to their adaptation, she's actually doing a few out here today. One of them is the neck rotation on her. Now, they are well equipped with double the amount of bones or vertebrae in their neck as opposed to what you and I have. She just kind of got in her head a little bit too much then, I think. Now we have 7 vertebrae. A giraffe has 7 vertebrae, but this little owl here has 14 vertebrae inside that tiny little vertebrae. Now this means that she can turn her head 270 degrees around, so she can look to the left by looking all the way to the right. Now it is also compensate for the lack of eye movement. Now we can move our eyes from side to side, where an owl cannot. They're shaped very differently. Have a look at her eyes. They're actually shaped like an ice cream cone. So if you can imagine, they go all the way back into the ends of their skull. Now that does aid in their vision, giving them the ability to find binocular vision. But look at their beautiful eye colour as well. She's got those beautiful bright yellow eyes. So that actually indicates to us what time of day Bailey here prefers to hunt. She's not a purely nocturnal owl. Now Gorilla, our with the birdie, got the birdie jet black eyes. But Bailey here, she's got crepuscular vision, meaning that she can see and hunt just as well during the daytime as she can at night time. What do you think, Beck? Today. We're having a great time out here. Yeah, she's just really showing off that neck rotation, isn't she? Pretty nice and comfortable up the back here. I know. But it does help them when it comes to finding their prey, because it gives them ample time of day and ample opportunity to seek out their prey. Now, when it comes to being out and about during the daytime, they also have to stay nice and camouflaged as well. So have a look at her back. They've got their beautiful, sorry, you're turning with your heads up, actually. Turning around, cranking your neck around, you wish you'd have that rotation, hey? They do have that bold brown colour to her back, so when she's sitting up in the treetops, she can easily I just had to fry her with some really yummy food. Now she also has those frayed feather edges, which give her that silent flight, just like our Martial gorilla has. Now this means that she can hunt extremely well for her prey, because not only is she completely silent when she wants to be, she can also use that camouflage to ambush them as well. Now all of these adaptations, they do make Bailey one very adorable, but very great hunter of the day and night. Everyone, you have just met our beautiful little darling, our Bailey. It's the cutest owl you've ever seen, until you find out that they rip heads off animals. Just a little bit terrifying from there. But we've had some pretty amazing birds so far. I'm having a great time. Are you guys enjoying the show? Yeah. We can do better. We can do a lot better. Yeah, I'm going to ask that again. Are you guys enjoying the show? Much better. There's a lot of you here today. We can make some noise. Now, we've come to the part of the show where we've met some different species, but we haven't really introduced you guys to anything really large, big, maybe scary, like a big ferocious predator. Are you guys ready to meet something big and scary? Yeah! What do we talk about? We gotta raise the roof off this place. Do you guys want to meet something big and scary? Yeah! Excellent! Now you can shout, because I'm about to introduce you all to something terrifying. Uh-oh. Yeah. Now right here at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, we are home to dinosaurs. In fact, here at Wild Skies, we have the closest living relative to the Tyrannosaurus Rex behind those walls. Get ready to meet the chickens. largest, most commanding birds of prey that we have in the entire world. They're supreme hunters. But even so, for Australia's largest aerial predator, there's been no greater threat to them, no greater predator than us humans. Did you know prior to the 70s, bounties were offered for the dead carcasses of wedge-tailed eagles? They were wrongly accused of killing our healthy livestock like sheep and cattle. And sadly, within 50 years, we were paid to hunt that bird to the brink of extinction. But thankfully, though, I can stand here today and tell you that since 1968, they were declared a protected species. And today, their numbers are fighting back for better. You see, it's a perfect example of how one decision, one change in our way of thinking and an action to stand up for our wildlife can have such a positive difference. In fact, us humans, we are so incredibly powerful. We were able to bring back an animal to the brink of extinction with one change. We have the ability to make over 35,000 different decisions every single day. But if you want to make a difference, if you want to make a real change, you just have to change once. And it can be as simple as picking up your rubbish and popping it in the right bin. You see, we all have the power to change the course of the future. One action, one decision. We can change the lives of our wildlife for the better and have them around for future generations to really appreciate and enjoy just like we do. And all it takes is us collectively coming together and realising that we can control the future and if we just change that one decision. Because the power to change the world, it starts with one, to keep our skies here in Australia and around the world forever white.
Whoa!
And we have some incredible ambassadors right here at last, guys. You've already met Phoenix, our beautiful red-tailed black cockatoo. We have birds like Squirt, our main spectral cockatoo, which unfortunately now has been classed as an endangered species. We have Dexter, our male Australian king parrot. Keep an eye out for Brain, our trusty little galah as well. And of course, we can't forget about the showstoppers themselves, our international guests. We have Big Bird and Willow, our blue and gold macaw, and our green winged macaw. You see, every decision that we make can change the world for the better. And these decisions, they impact our wildlife in one way or another. So let's band together and create a future that we can all coexist. Because the power to change the world, it starts with each and every one of you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary and enjoying us. Now, folks, the fun does not end there. If you would like to stand eye to eye, shoulder to shoulder with Bailey, our barking owl who you met earlier, now is your opportunity to do so. She'll be heading down to Conservation HQ, which is just behind us here. And here she comes down for a very short time only. It is your time now to stand next to her, get a professional photograph taken. You've already purchased an owl encounter. This is your time. However, there are still spots available. So make sure you follow Kaylee and Bailey down to Conservation HQ. Otherwise, thank you so